So I hope you can hear me okay. Um, so I woke up this morning extremely anxious, and I figured that this isn't a good time for me just to stay in bed and wallow up. I think this is a good time for me to talk. And I think my anxiety this morning was triggered by two things. One, wine. Last night I had more than two glasses, which is usually my threshold when it comes to waking up without an emotional hangover. Two is waking up to messages, and I appreciate these, I do. But waking up, and I understand where you're coming from, but waking up to messages saying or asking, like, are you okay? Like, are you good? And I am okay. I am good. And right now, I feel like I'm at an uphill place, and this is simply a different way of coping with my anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues in a way that I never have before. I'm learning that this is something that runs in my family, and it's been a trip learning this or having this happen in a far off place. So, essentially, what I want to get at with this video is how all of this hit me in stages, like what it's like to live abroad, teach abroad with an anxiety disorder or with a mental disorder. So the first 3 months or so were like a novelty period. I'm meeting all these new people. I'm in a brand new place, whole new culture. I have a brand new apartment to live in. And things felt good. I felt like, oh, this is so right. This is exactly what I needed. This is the perfect medicine for what I was yearning for so much while living in DC. And there's some things I was anxious about, but nothing, it was all fleeting. It was nothing that was really just clouding me for a long period of time. So my first 3 months were kind of a romance period. And I remember towards the end of August, I went to Singapore for a weekend and I saw Chance the Rapper. And he finished his show. I was alone, and he finished his show, and I was in the crowd. And he said, "This is the last leg of my Asia tour, and I am returning to my family in Chicago." And so my mind was just kind of like, well, I'm not. And I woke up the next morning just in this weird Airbnb setup. And it was the first time that I truly felt loneliness and isolation, homesickness for the first time in my life. I knew that would come, and I knew before even like, I knew before even like starting this experience, that there would be phases where this would suck. Like there'd be times when this would be, sorry, I'm just trying to get comfortable. There'd be phases that suck and there'd be phases that I really enjoy. But so far, this has been a challenging yet unforgettable experience. But anyways, after that weekend in Singapore, things started getting worse. September and October were difficult for a variety of reasons. Anxious about a lot of different things. I mean, a lot of different things. Just the tip of the ice. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Just to the point that things got kind of suffocating, and I knew that something needed to change. Thoughts about coming home came into my head. And I knew that I needed to reach out to someone. I think that in the past, I never really opened up to anyone about how I was feeling, besides my parents, honestly. But I never really opened up to close friends or other family members about how I was feeling. I think I just kind of felt like it was an issue that I had and I needed to outgrow it or handle it on my own. So now, like I said, I feel like I'm on an uphill climb. I've reached out to people. I'm feeling better, and I think that talking and making these posts are my way of helping myself, but also really trying to help whoever chooses to watch this, helping you. I was talking to a friend yesterday about this, about like I really enjoy just talking through the camera and just trying to seek some advice on the best way to go about it, how to move forward with it. And he just asked me, well, first off, what do you want to do with it? And I paused, like I didn't really fully know what to say at first. But I think my initial reaction was to help others and help myself who may be dealing with something similar. So I'm posting this for you to give you an idea of where I'm at right now, what it is like to be abroad, my current status, going on 7 months of being abroad for the first time. Well, for this long at least, but also when it comes down to social media, I mean, you could look at my Instagram and I mean, it could appear that I'm living this exotic lifestyle where I'm seeing all these new places on a regular basis and living a lifestyle that isn't exactly sustainable. But I'd say what you see on Instagram is probably about, I'd say 3% of what my reality is. My daily routine, I'm mostly alone. And I think that has a lot to do with it too, is that isolation can create, well, for me, has created a lot of anxiety. And in the first 3 months, what my normal rigid routine, what I once cherished, became almost toxic because it was just more thinking time. It was more time in my head. So never let your self-worth be affected by what you see on social media, because you never know what's behind the lens. And you've heard this before, but being here has taught me that firsthand. And you can follow all these travel accounts, people in beautiful places, in the most beautiful landscapes, beaches, whatever. They may and probably are still carrying something with them that you're not seeing. And remember that if you ever have those thoughts where it's like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing at home? What am I doing? I wish I was doing more. I'm here, and I often still feel like I'm not doing enough. And so I think that's what I want to leave it at today. And like I said, I woke up feeling really uneasy this morning for a multitude of reasons, and I figured that I would use that energy into talking and seeing if this is something that anyone who chooses to watch can resonate with. So, thank you, and have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, whatever time zone you're watching this from.